Journey to the West in Vernacular, Chapter 38. The bandits are delighted to welcome Monk Tangth for masters and disciples of Tang. Monk went to bed late and got up early. After traveling for nearly 14 years, they arrived at Diling County, Tuntai Prefecture. There was a large household in the county. The head of the household was named Ku and his name was Hong. People called him Ku Yuanwai. This bandit was a kind man outside, and often gave alms to the monks. He heard that Tang Seng and his disciples came from the Eastern Tang dynasty. He was very happy and decided to stay with Tang Seng and the others for a few more days. Tang Monk was eager to learn Buddhist scriptures and spend his days at the home of a bandit's wife. Seeing that they really couldn't hold him back, the bandits invited relatives, friends, neighbors, and other people, as well as some monks, Taoist priests, and drummers to send Tang Seng and his disciples on their way. This scene happened to be seen by a group of robbers from the county. They decided to take advantage of the dark weather and heavy rain to rob the Ku family. That night, this group of robbers, armed with daggers, sticks, and other weapons, held torches, rosin, and lanterns, smashed open the door of Ku's house. They rummaged through boxes and cabinets, overturned tables and smashed chairs, and not only robbed all the gold and silver treasures, but also looted silks, satins, and clothing. The bandits dragged the leader of the robbers away and begged him to leave some clothes to protect themselves from the cold, but they were beaten by the robbers, kicked to death at the door. After the robbers left, the men, women, and children of the Ku family held the body of the Ku member and cried loudly. Mrs. Ku thought that this incident was caused by Tang Seng's master and apprentice. She was very angry and said to her two sons, "Last night I hid under the bed and saw Tang Seng holding the fire, Zhu Bajie holding the knife, and Sha carrying the gold and silver. Monk, it was Sun Wukong who killed your father." The two sons wrote a petition and filed a complaint with the government. That night, Tang Seng and his disciples took shelter from the rain in a broken house and continued walking westward after dawn. It happened that the group of robbers from last night were also fleeing to the west. They saw Tang Seng and his disciples from a distance. They thought that the Ku family must have given them a lot of silver, so they decided to snatch away the things and the horses. So they ran to the road and stood in a row with the weapons in their hands. When Tang Monk saw it, he was frightened. Sha, Monk and Bajie didn't know what to do. Wukong smiled and went up and asked, "Hey, what are you doing?" The robber said, "I want to buy money for the journey." Wukong pretended. He was very scared and said, "There are 4 of us. I am the accountant. If you let the 3 of them go, I will give you all the money." The robbers believed it and made way for Tang Monk, Bajie, and Sha Monk to pass. When Wukong saw them passing by, he lowered his head and opened his bag, took the opportunity to grab a handful of soil, chanted a spell, threw it up, and shouted, "Hold." The robbers immediately gritted their teeth and stared, standing upright, unable to move. It turns out that Wukong used the immobilization method. Wukong called back his master and younger brother, plucked some hairs and turned them into ropes, and gave them to Bajie. The 2 men tied up all the robbers, and then recited the spell to wake up the robbers. Wukong interrogated them on the spot with weapons in hand. The robbers did not dare not answer and told them all about the robbery of the bandits last night. Tang Monk ordered his disciples to seize the robbers' stolen goods and return them to the Ku family. Wukong grabbed the stolen goods, put some on his horse, and wrapped the rest into packages for Bajie to carry. Then he shook his body and took back the hair. The robber immediately loosened his bonds and ran for his life. Master Tang Seng and his disciples turned around and walked back to deliver belongings to the Ku family. Not far away, a group of officers and soldiers came over, surrounded Tang Seng's master and apprentice, and shouted, "Monk, do you know your guilt for killing and robbing?" Without any explanation, they first caught Tang Seng off his horse, tied him up with a rope, and then Wukong and the others also tied them up, put them on the shoulders, and carried them back to the city. Tang Seng and his disciples were escorted to the lobby, only to find out that they had been falsely accused. After being tortured and interrogated for a while by the officers and soldiers, they were put into prison. In the middle of the night, Wukong used magic to break free from the rope and turned into a midge. He flew to the criminal's wife's house and saw a family crying around the coffin in the hall. Wukong hit the head of the coffin and coughed first, scaring the young and old of the Ku family out of their wits. Wukong imitated Ku Yuanwei's voice and said, "It's all because you told lies and framed innocent people. The King of Hell sent me to tell you that you should go and save Tang Monk and his disciples as soon as possible." Otherwise, no one in the whole family, old or young, will survive. The two sons outside the coup officer kowtowed quickly and promised to go to the government at dawn. Wukong flew to the governor's home again and saw the governor burning incense and praying in front of a painting. He turned to the horseman in the painting and asked, "Why did you imprison the 4 immortal monks who went to Lingshan to learn scriptures? Release them quickly." How dare the governor refuse to agree? Wukong flew to the lobby of Diling County. It was already dawn, so he used a magic to enlarge his body. He stretched out a big foot from the air, stepped on the lobby, and said, "Listen, I am a prodigal sent by the Jade Emperor. Wandering God, you have imprisoned the immortal monk who went to the west to obtain Buddhist scriptures. Let him go quickly, or I will crush you." After Wukong finished doing these things, he flew back to the prison, changed back to his original shape, and got into the noose. After a while, the jailer released them all. The governor, magistrate and officials came to the cell to greet them and apologized repeatedly. Tang Seng explained the details and everyone hurriedly said, "I wrongly blamed you, please forgive me." Wukong saw everyone talking to his master, and asked Bajie and Sha Sang to protect him. He somersaulted to the underworld, asked Siddhagarbha Bodhisattva to get Ku Hong's soul back, put it in his sleeve, and returned to Ku's house on a cloud, letting Bajie Li open the coffin lid and pushed his soul onto his body. After a while, Ku Yuanwai was revived. Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.